Let's try and introduce him. As AI reshapes every corner of business and society, leadership itself is entering a moment of reinvention. The rise of intelligent systems demands a new kind of C-suite, some of which include Dr. Kairat Kelimbetov, member of the Board of Directors, Freedom Holding Corp., Yaroslav Mikos, CEO of Comark, Mikhail Gerchuk, CEO of Telecom, Power International Holding, Vasil Letsanich, head of Telecom, Nexol Holding and chairman of Vodafone Ukraine, Miko Levanti, SVP Middle East and Africa Mobile Networks, and CEO Nokia El Sardia JV, Munir Letki, co-founder, president, and CTO of MyCom, and of course, to moderate the panel, we will have Mr. Ivan Skenderowski, CEO of Salience Consulting. So let's give them all a round of applause, and as they get ready to hit the stage, whoever is mic'd up first may say a few things.
Right. Good morning. Just to check, can you hear me well? Yeah, very good. I'm pleased to have you all this morning. I'm hoping to have an interesting discussion. I was just mentioning before, most of the conferences I've attended in the last year or so, we are always talking about AI. So, we have to demystify it a bit. Is it a hype or is it something which is affecting our industry? So just to have a few words, telecom for us is no longer about connectivity. Obviously, together with data storage and data security, is becoming an enabler of the AI-driven economy. And it goes beyond that. Obviously, telecom operators, they've got the enterprise customers, which rely on their trusted advisor, i.e. the telecom operator, to tell them more about this technology, how they could utilize it, and whether they could benefit for it. Now, we are having generative AI, greater automation, digital infrastructure, which is reshaping the markets. And that's where the boards and the executives now are facing some immediate pressures. Number one, a new C-suite capabilities are needed, ones that have both AI fluency and could lead the teams and the organizations in managing the technology wave. Number two, trustworthy AI in becoming a pillar of national infrastructure. Number three, automation and efficiency. They're no longer cost savers. We are looking at them as a means of survival, and the implementation is not optional. And again, next year, 2026, is where we would need to see a bit more clarity in this. And therefore, next year, priorities will determine whether operators scale beyond connectivity and provide technology leadership. So I will start the panel with our first topic, which is the need for this new C-suite in an AI society. And we explore what capabilities new telco C-level needs to have to manage telco operations using AI or support its customers understanding AI. I'll start with you, Mikhail, if you don't mind. So from a group level, always the PIH is into 6 different sectors. You also have the telco domain itself and the Tele2 in Kazakhstan. So how are the company executives in PIH or Tele2, they're embracing AI as a management skill and tool for the telco itself? Please.
Power International Holding that I represent is a very large multi-segment holding. We manage 400 companies across construction, agriculture, energy, hospitality, healthcare, and telecom. In order to we are private and very entrepreneurial. Our motto is do it now. So we want to make decisions fast, and we want to make kind of accurate, good decisions. We use, first we recruit and develop managers that have to know and be familiar with AI, because we use AI on two levels of our operations. First, we use AI for decision making. Generally, we're a very digitized company, and all operations are on the palm of our hand. We have various applications, and first of all, Pulse applications that shows status of any of our thousands of businesses, any restaurant, any hotel, any kind of telecom operation in one application. And these decision-making tools are now embedded with AI. Yeah? So AI provides insights, highlights issue areas, proposes solutions, but anyway, at the end of the day, decision lies with the managers. So managers need to know how to use AI, and then they have to use their own expertise, supported by AI, to make decisions. And then, in order to beat our competitors, in order to make decisions faster, execute our projects faster, we use AI across our operations. We embed AI in many aspects of our operations. We implement hundreds of AI agents. In telecom area, we implement self-optimized networks and many other AI solutions. And again, our managers need to understand how to use AI, how to implement these agents. In order to do this, we have a company within our holding, within actually telecom segment, TMT group, that's called PowerMind AI, where we gather data scientists, data experts, AI specialists who develop applications and solutions for all companies in our portfolio, as well as for external companies too. We kind of commercialize our AI knowledge to help them to make decisions fast and automate many decisions.
Thank you. Vasil, similar question to you. Obviously, your group has operations across Ukraine and Azerbaijan. So how do you see the C-level being transformed to be AI knowledgeable? And is this skill special, or is it just another technology which needs to be learned by the C-levels?
Well, for sure, this is something that is a part of innovation, and the easiest example that comes to my mind is when we adopted computers. Some of us are old enough to remember the world almost without computers, and then the computers stormed in, and then they were first used for very specific tasks, and then they proliferated basically every move that we make anywhere, starting from C-suite and down to the smallest tasks in the organization. I believe the AI has the same future. It will be absolutely everywhere. We will use it on an everyday basis. Some of us already do. And I wish I could use it as well today and still enjoying my jet lag while somebody was delivering this great speech instead of me in AI form, but I have to be here still physically. Right. Maybe for the future it will be easier. So innovation is the name of the game in the telecommunications specifically, and if you don't have the newest things in your everyday layer of C-suite, managerial level, execution, operations, and support, you don't have the innovations. And if you don't have the innovations, you are dead already. The innovation can only thrive if it's backed up by the CEO. And I'm not saying just that specific person in the C-suite, like we used to have the CDOs in the past, if you remember, Chief Digital Officers. And the experience that I've witnessed was rather poor, because there was one person that was behind the new idea, and that person and the idea was battling with everybody else who resisted it. So to me, going back to having one person who would be chief AI officer is the old bad way of doing things. AI has to be on the agenda of basically every meaningful part of the organization. The key areas should be identified, and we do it already with our operations, as you mentioned, in both Azerbaijan and Ukraine, and some other operations that we are starting now, would be all subject to AIification of different layers and different key areas. For example, would it be operational management of the network, customer service, support functions like financial function, HR function, legal function. The AI should be on the agenda. There should be specific people who would be attracted to organization, who will bring in the knowledge, and then at the end, they would spread the technology and spread the knowledge, just as it happened to be with the computers. Just imagine ourselves several decades ago when we had almost no clue how the computers function. And we wanted to have our finance department working better. We would invite a couple of people who already know how to do computing. They would start doing certain functions, certain processes, and then we would put layers on top of that and get everybody involved. The same thing with AI. AI is no miracle. It is not a God mode of the business. It's just another very capable tool if we use it properly. So it's not about the C-suite. It's about the entire verticality of the organization being behind this attempt. And there is, by the way, no guarantee that it will be successful, that it will bring what it's promised, and that it will not cause even bigger changes to the organization in the future. It will most likely will. And that means we have to be ready for it. We have to be open, because again, the innovation is the name of our game.
So what I'm hearing, you're looking probably at certain pioneers of AI within your organization, and then to propagate towards all the levels rather than any sort of special training, right?
CEO strongly behind and driving, and then people attracted, appointed, and given the power to propagate, as you say, the ideas,
Probably
the technologies to different parts of the organization.
Right. Very good. Now I'll switch a bit from the vendor community, right? We've got Mikko from Nokia. What's your perspective here? I mean, you see telco transformation from outside, right? So do you see any changes in your client community? Do you see the telecom operators interacting differently, asking you for more things?
For sure. I mean, if I look at what Fahad was talking about, the Do experience on AI, I think it's a good example on not only thinking about the AI, but think about the human intelligence. So the programs that they have run in the Do, we do the same, by the way, inside Nokia. So you have to get the people to understand how to use the tools. So you have to think about, and I think that's what I see in the operator field, and I see inside Nokia that you have to have, first of all, people need to be curious. I think it goes like when the computers came, so you can be thinking about it, it's something I'm afraid of, or then I'm curious, how can I be more efficient? How can I spend more time with my customers? How can I, use the technology? And I think that is something that I see a lot of cooperation needed. We run, I live in Saudi now, so we run together with the Saudi community and the operators, a lot of training, a lot of work together. Our customers come and stay in Nokia to learn more about the AI. So I think that's thing. Of course, you will bring efficiencies. So R&D is one of them, where we now run in Nokia a lot of programs on how much can you get better, how faster products to the market. So I think those are things, but I think the human intelligence, so not to be afraid of that, is one of the themes that we have worked very closely. I'll talk later a little bit about the Nokia strategy, how we see it, but I think it's really, really important.
So you're saying we've got this new toy, we need to learn how to play with it effectively.
Yeah, I think it's not the toy anymore. I think it's everywhere. So if we don't notice how much we use AI daily, right? So I think it's reality.
Okay, very good. Now, I'll call Monir, I think, from a software industry viewpoint. How is your industry being transformed by AI? So what's the art of possible of AI within your industry? And what are the internal operating processes that you need to create in order to benefit from AI?
Yeah, well, what's happening in the software industry is really fascinating. And when I'm talking about software industry, it's not only software vendor, because right now there is software development in every company, including the telco sector, where the software is going to be at the heart of this transformation from telco to techco that we hear a lot about. So first of all, in the past few months, like in the last, let's say, 12 months, there has been tremendous progress in the AI assistants. And today you have a new generation of agents, like, for example, Claude Code from Anthropic or Codex that released by OpenAI. I mean, these are not longer just AI assistants. These are agents that can take the steering wheel. So you can give them, you can expose what you want to do, you can express an intent, you can say what you want to achieve, you can expose the development environment, and then they can create the software for you. It's just unbelievable. And then, so what happens is the role of the software developer changes from becoming someone who creates code, let's say, to someone who expresses the intent, someone who challenges, who enforces guardrails and safety. So in fact, the nature of the jobs changes completely. So much so that the CTO of Amazon recently called it the Renaissance developer, someone who is capable of then not just looking at their code, but looking at something that is much wider. So you see the transformation is really, really, really deep right now. But then you have to start it top down, because when you use these tools or these assistants, the agents, well, you have to have clear objectives top down. My colleague said here that it's the CEO who should set these objectives. But you need to have clarity. Are you trying to cut cost? Are you trying to go faster? Are you trying to innovate? This is exactly what you need to be. So for example, in our case, we've rolled out now AI agents across the organization to 100% of the people after multiple pilots. And we've seen already 30% and up to 90% reduction in the time to fulfill certain tasks. And so it's immense. The benefits and the gains can be immense. But to take the full benefit of it, you can't just plug AI tools on an existing process. You need to re-engineer the operating process of the company. For example, for vendors, this means coming up with a new AI-native product lifecycle, which sets the objectives top-down, as I mentioned, and then they embed, you set out how AI is going to be used across every step of the product lifecycle, from the marketing, the requirements gathering, the development, etc., all the way to the support functions. And this is really where the benefits would come to full fruition, and you can see that transformation that we're talking about.
And the software industry, I think it's the most impacted. I mean, I was talking with my son yesterday. He just graduated computer science, and he was showing me something. He said, look, Dad, I've managed to create this within a few hours. It would have taken me 3 months. And I figured out now it's not about people learning how to program. It's how to give instructions, right? So once you give correct instructions, the tool at the back creates all the code and everything, and you just need to fine-tune it to get it up to your requirements.
Absolutely.
Right?
This is it. It's expressing the intent and then challenging. You need to challenge a tool. Just BCG said, it's fascinating. BCG said that companies will employ in the future agents. You have to consider some of these agents as employees. So you will have the human workers, you will have the digital workers, and you have to, orchestrate. You have to be an orchestrator of this interaction between digital and human workers. And we will get there. We can see it. We will get there.
So I would move now to the second topic, which is a trust in AI as a decision-making tool. So telecom operators control critical national infrastructure, which needs to be trusted, right? So do we trust AI being used for things like network management, fraud detection, customer engagement? And also on the regulatory front, right? What we should expect in terms of regulating use of AI. For example, we've heard EU-style regulation, which might be stifling innovation. So where do we start and what do we apply? I'll start with Dr. Kairat. So what's your view on regulating AI on a country level, for example, Kazakhstan and so on? Are you looking for valuable lessons from elsewhere, or you're reinventing, or you're inventing something new? I mean, are you looking at EU, or are you looking at US? What's the starting point in regulating?
Yeah. I think it's too early to say that there is a best model now in the world what anybody can conclude with lessons. But we see like it's a big division now. Is EU, as you mentioned, very restrictive, US a very decentralized model, and China is a very state-driven model. Right. And I think that we're trying to understand and realize and conclude some lessons which fits with our institutional capacity in Kazakhstan. So in general, I think Kazakhstan chose the approach that we want to be AI nation. And so I think that the recent initiative, so we announced that we would like to launch the AI hub with NVIDIA in the region of Central Asia, which is a project for $2 billion between NVIDIA, government in Kazakhstan, and Freedom Holding as well, as a part of the public-private partnership. Also, we agreed that OpenAI will provide the program ChatGPT Edu for the 160,000 teachers in Kazakhstan, just to bring AI, let's say, fluency to future coders. And I believe that approach is kind of the more optimistic about AI. But here is, I think that it would be false dilemma that what is innovation first or regulation first. So I think that if the government or regulator should do both, if it will not be enough regulation, then we will concentrate systemic risk. If, let's say, if we will kind of over-regulate it, it will be, we will stop, we will freeze the development. And I think the approach which is usually we use when we develop recently different fintech solution is like, so what we need is we need a sandbox mechanism, tech-friendly regulation, we need pilot zones, we need public-private partnership. This is the approach that we choose in Kazakhstan. So I believe that we will move on this direction. And if I may just a little bit add to the echo previous discussion. So I think that the C-suite level manager who are running the company is not about like a big coder, or it's about AI fluency in terms of the understanding the general data landscape, okay? What is like ecosystem looks like, where we can use probabilistic scenarios, how we can kind of predict the different systemic risk. This is, I think, AI simplify life of the people. I strongly believe that AI is a tool, is not replacing the humans, it's helping humans for decision maker, for quality of decision making, and improve the quality of the people.
Right. So does the government has, for example, specific KPIs currently in Kazakhstan for using AI? I mean,
yes, I think that what we want is just to be in top 10 AI nations globally, and I think we do understand maybe we are not a kind of superpower in AI development as a US, but I think that we are a country who wants to adapt it as among the first.
And I'll come now to Yaroslav, obviously from an EU perspective. I mean, your main operations are in Europe, and can you give us some opinion on how is EU regulating this? I mean, what do you see happening there?
Well, I mean, with regulation, I don't have a clarity of the opinion, to be honest with you, because it's fresh, it's early. AI is early. I mean, as you know, European Union is trying to highly regulate the AI through the AI Act, and it's put some boundaries around that. In the US, it's fully freedom. It's a lot of freedom from that perspective. I think that if I run the company which has 6,000 engineers, and we have a global reach, very much present in Europe, in Middle East, and in Asia, and in the United States as well. And what I see is that, firstly, don't strangle the innovation. Yeah, let the innovation emerge. Because at the end of the day, we're talking a lot around AI. It's probably second, third conference, annual conference in which we are talking about this. But it's still early, yes? I see how the adoption is looking like. I mean, from my perspective, we recognizing ourselves as one of the AI leaders in Europe. 70% of my engineers are using AI tools, Copilot tools mainly. But we need to move from Copilot tools into the agentic AI, which is much more difficult. It's a lot of kind of more, let's say, work, intellectual work needs to be done. And it's a lot around the kind of changing the culture of ways of working, changing the talent, because prompt engineering is completely different from simple coding.
Right.
So we need to do that. And I wouldn't like to have a lot of kind of boundaries around that. We should have much more freedom from that perspective. So I'm not obsessed personally on the regulatory aspects. I recognizing the fact that people want to have a privacy and AI creates a lot of risks around. So cybersecurity is so important from that perspective. But generally, I would think that we need to have a bit of a kind of let it go basically for time being. Yeah.
And the impact to your organization, I mean, we've heard from Munir that, you know, it has a transformative effect on the software company. Are you looking for potentially having less engineers doing more?
Well, I mean,
or doing more in general?
we're focusing on 3 areas. Firstly, I mean, AI is the great tool for software companies like ours to improve efficiency. And clearly, we are in a competitive market. Everybody is looking for profitability to compete with some others, providing services to customers like yourself. And you are actually pushing us on the lower pricing, better quality. Simple like that. And that's the part of the game. And we understand that. And we're doing that, actually. And AI clearly improves the efficiency. I mean, clearly, we improved the efficiency last year for about 20% because we decreased the headcount and increased the revenue. And we see that people are loving to using those tools. I mean, we're seeing the engineers don't restrain from that. That actually was quite surprising. I was thinking that from my perspective as a CEO, I would need to put a lot of push, advocacy, onboarding, but they are just curious, I mean, how it's worked. So they took the tools. So this is first area, the engineering base, how to improve the efficiency, how to make the code not only provide a cheaper way, but also better way, because the testing, the quality of coding, no smell of code, all those elements are making a lot of kind of improvement for the daily living. Second aspect is clearly products for the customers. And all of our customers are saying, give us something on AI, because our boards are expecting us to have something on AI. So we're actually doing things, particularly on autonomous networks, yes, doing a lot of number of POCs on autonomous networks to give the tools for the customer support functions, yes? So those are the elements that are happening at the moment in our business.
Very good, very good. Now, coming back to the trust, I think, Vasil, we had discussion the other day on the phone, and, you know, we were discussing about how AI functions, right? So, you know, it generates responses to our questions with some intelligence, actually a lot of intelligence, but also creates a lot of noise, right? So, you know, you said when it comes to operating networks, maybe it's not mature or proven enough to be trusted. I mean, you compared it with a 5-year-old kid which needs to be trained, right? What's your viewpoint on trusting this technology now?
Well, I think we are very focused on something that is very at our hands, and we don't understand a lot about the future of this technology. In fact, look what we discussed over the phone recently. If we are hiring a person, we are usually giving the person at most 2 weeks of training in most of the areas, be it the finance, be it the technology and operations, or be it customer service. And then we put that person onto live systems and trust that person to handle a part of our business. And we don't know what's inside of the head of that person, in fact. How about AI? We know how it was built. We know the algorithms behind it. We have a track record of it being used in other areas. Why don't we trust it from the beginning? Why do we start with the question of trust? I think the first question is slightly different. The trust is something that we need to put on the table if we want to start this, but are we really talking about something that is capable of doing stuff? My personal experience, and I believe experience of most of people, is that AI is a very good talking mechanism at this time. So it's a large language model built tool that can handle a lot of information. But can it actually do something? And this is what was just mentioned by Yaroslav, that this agentic AI is still not yet there. And as we see us as the technology leaders using the algorithms for a long time for customer value management, for self-optimizing network, for many other areas in our businesses, so we are not new there, we still don't see AI being capable of doing things on our network. It's not about just writing a model or even teaching a model how to talk nicely. It's about how does this model interact with a lot of functions, a lot of technology pieces and different mechanisms that are on every live network. And in fact, as of today, most of the tools are very narrow. They can work with 1 or 2 or 3 subsets of information and of systems, but not really manage the larger tasks. And I think this is the major problem for AI adoption at this moment, is that there is a very big expectation. The board is asking to bring in the AI tools. There is a lot of promise. We've seen a lot of various players in this value chain offering total solutions for everything based on AI technologies. But then through the implementation, we see a big drop in actual functionality of those tools. And I think for the overall AI future, the biggest question is the capability of AI to actually do things instead of just give you an analysis. Analysis, fantastic, we have it. But how about actually doing things on the network better than people can do? And that's the biggest question to me, much bigger than trust question for today.
Right. Question for Mikhail, obviously, from operator perspective. I mean, how, for example, Tele2 is using AI to manage networks? I mean, are you using it to manage network? Any other use which is on a critical infrastructure, so the trust needs to be, and also, obviously, Dr. Kairat mentioned the aim of Kazakhstan to be within the top 10 nations, and how that impacts you as an operator there.
Our first acquisition in telecom space was in Kazakhstan, where on 15th of January this year, we closed the deal and acquired Tele2, which is the second largest operator in Kazakhstan. As Dr. Kairat said, and in my opinion too, Kazakhstan creates kind of right balance between promoting AI and kind of safeguarding stakeholders from negative consequences of AI. There is a lot of focus on the government level. There is a minister of AI who recently became deputy prime minister. And there are many initiatives, again, coming from the very top on developing AI and promoting AI in the country. In our company, Tele2 is a very efficient operator by various metrics like EBITDA margin, customers per employees, and so on. So it is a very efficient operator, and we actually made it even more efficient since we acquired it from the government entity, and we manage it as a kind of private equity holding. And in order to make it more efficient, we use AI. We have 5G license, and we roll out 5G in Kazakhstan. And Kazakhstan is the country with one of the lowest population densities in the world. So making money, commercializing 5G and rolling it out efficiently is a significant challenge. So we use AI for making decisions about rollout. So we use big volume of data to help us decide where to place kind of base stations and how to make rollout the most efficient. But also we need to utilize our exclusivity window, because at the moment we have exclusivity window of 5G. And again, AI helps us to make decisions with this in mind. Secondly, we share our networks with another operator. And again, decisions about network sharing, we use AI a lot for that. And thirdly, to Vasil's point about AI helping to make actual kind of decisions, we use AI for self-optimizing networks. We already use AI agents and AI solutions for optimizing our networks, depending on various data points, depending on traffic directions, peaks and troughs of traffic, and so on. And this helps a lot. Recently, I attended a football match between Real Madrid and Kairat Almaty. It was the first time Real came to Kazakhstan, and I was pleased to see that our 5G network was working very, very well, better than kind of competitors' networks in this critical situation. And in fact, we received many comments from our customers about quality of our network. And again, this was helped by AI and self-optimized network component of AI. We also use AI in customer service. That's another area where AI can help a lot. And we experiment with various AI agents that help to reduce waiting time. In fact, reduce waiting time to 0 because AI agent can serve thousands of customers at any given time. And our net promoter score on customers who deal with AI agents instead of IVR increased dramatically. So I think that AI has great potential and great future in helping us to run our networks and making telecom more efficient. I think AI will help us to make many decisions. And government's role is crucial on, from one hand, providing kind of guardrails and security measures from malicious use of AI, but at the same time stimulating use of AI for the benefit of our customers and telecom operators.
So do you agree with Vasil's viewpoint that, I mean, mainly currently the telcos are using it on an advisory basis, provides information, helps with the decision-making process, rather than does things itself, right?
I think it does both on different levels. I think that on strategic level, on kind of management decision-making level, indeed, AI kind of provides advice and recommendation, but managers need to make final decision. But AI is good because it analyzes big volumes of data and uses machine learning to provide better recommendations. Yeah? But still managers need to use their judgment to make right calls. However, on an operational level, AI already makes decisions. We use AI again for AI agents that serve our customers, and of course it's completely automated process. Yeah, of course we set algorithms, we develop those agents, but then agents decide what to recommend to a customer, what is best for the customer at any given moment. Same for self-optimized networks that change kind of energy levels, signal strengths, depending on traffic volumes. Again, this real-time automatic decisions where people are not involved. And I believe that we will see more and more of these automatic decisions that will be integrated in all aspects of telecom company operation.
Oh, that's great, and I think a lot of lessons learned will be coming from that as well. Monir, we discussed, I think, very briefly on the data as important input for AI, right? And some thoughts on how the data needs to evolve to serve the AI intelligence. And should data sources be also trusted and regulated? I mean, what's your view on this?
Yeah, sure. Just one quick comment on what has been said. When we talk about using AI, right, to do things automatically on the network, well, let's also not forget, if we talk about network operations, that we are in a highly regulated industry that has to deliver a 5-9 reliability of networks. So of course you're not gonna trust an agent, right, like this overnight to go and completely autonomously start driving operations without a human in the loop, at least at this stage. But what we have to understand also, if there are 3 layers of AI right now, there is the predictive AI with machine learning. There is then the agentic AI that can create, for example, remediation solutions, or they can create outcomes. And then there is agentic AI that can reason and plan and can take, end-to-end actions and in full autonomy. Well, also what we see sometimes in the telco industry is that we go talk about the agentic AI with some customers. How can I move to full autonomous network level 5 with an AI agent overtaking the whole operations? While the basics, let's say using machine learning to do forecasting and anomaly detection, using root cause analysis, etc., is not fully deployed yet. In many of the telcos, it's still a mix of a patchwork of manual workflows and etc. So I think if we go step by step with some, for example, machine learning, it gives you an accuracy of more than 95%. It's economical because it uses CPUs, not the GPUs, and so on, and can deliver massive benefits to the operation. So we have also to think of it in terms of a roadmap like this. Now, back to your data point, I think this is something overlooked because without very high quality data, you cannot, AI cannot produce outcomes. That is clear. Often data is siloed, is fragmented, it's not time aligned, cannot be easily correlated, for example, and sits in different domains. And it's not sovereign as well. Some operators, some CSPs, will accept for their data to be in the cloud, for example, and managed by someone like Snowflake, but some others will insist for their data to be on-prem. So the first thing, and that is a barrier to achieving, to realizing outcomes with AI. And that's why you see not all the AI projects, delivering outcomes. So the first thing is to build that data foundation. And that data foundation has to have, today there are like emerging technologies called lakehouse type technologies that can combine what we call a data warehouse and a data lake that can that can give you the flexibility to query the data, at the same time can give you the flexibility and the the cost-effective way of doing it. So this data foundation, right, and these new emerging technologies on database systems have to be the stepping stone for then building an AI layer that delivers outcome on top. And we see today a lot of our customers, we're working with them. There is one customer who have declared in data martial law. They said it is, back to your point on trust, they are putting the guardrails in place to build a highly trusted data foundation based on these lakehouse technologies that can then by the way, allow you to move from the petabytes of data into a medallion type data architectures with like silver, silver, gold, platinum type of data. That is an asset for the company because it not only feeds AI to deliver outcomes, but can be monetized assets. Now, whether it can be trusted is a very good question. There is a lot of regulations on that. And some of this is happening in the public cloud, some of it is happening on-prem. But no matter what, the starting point must be data to deliver outcomes.
Very good, very good. So I'll move to the third topic, which is how leaders are advancing efficiency through automation. So we've heard about this automated network operations. For example, zero touch is the goal, and then customer operations, customer support efficiencies, transforming workforce, cloud enabling automation, and so on. So I would like to start with sort of the vendor part of the panel, maybe Mikko. From the perspective of a vendor community, I mean, are you selling solutions to help gain operators' efficiencies and increase automation? And any specific case studies you could tell us about in that domain?
Let me first start with one comment. I don't want to be a vendor. I want to be a partner.
Right.
And I think that's a very important part of the Nokia strategy as well. So we see this requires the ecosystem and co-creation. Second comment, I want to go back to data. I was lucky enough to be in London Business School training last year together with Emirates Airlines. And I was surprised that I think there were about 8 colleagues from Emirates Airlines and 5 of them were working with data. I always talk about that, running an airline is running and operating the planes, but no, they were focusing on data. So just, you can see that how this business evolves. How many of you have heard about connecting people? So it was quite powerful slogan, and we have actually now looked at it again, and we say connecting intelligence. And I'll come back what it means. So why does Nokia talk about that? So we see the industry moving into, we call it the AI super cycle. So all what we are discussing here, whether it's the operators, whether it's the data, whether it's the regulation, these things need to be connected. And what we are working on, of course, we have 2 different parts of the business. One is all the data centers, the connectivity, the data sovereignty. So we believe that the data, the trusted data, needs to be handled in the country more and more. Each country has their digital agendas, and I think I would strongly advise that you don't let other people to take the data away from the control, right? And I think that's fundamental there. So we work on our data center optical side. We are selling today, for example, quantum safe optical connectivity, making sure that you cannot misuse the data. Now I focus on what we call AI run. So basically, there are 3 elements that we are working. I'll give you examples on that side. You might have seen that NVIDIA invested into Nokia recently. So what we said there is that they are putting $1 billion into Nokia to help to invest on taking Jensen was saying in the announcement that today you have expensive GPUs which are in some tens of thousands of data centers. We believe that in the future, near future, you have every base station, every radio station running a GPU. It might not be the same GPU as you think about today, that it's very expensive and very power hungry, but you need to bring those workloads closer there. So the way AI Run Alliance, where Nokia is a key member, we talk about three things. First one is what we call AI for Run, so AI for radio access networks. And what that means is it's about the automation. So Elisa in Finland, I think they have less than 10 people in their operations today. They run the entire network with that, and I think that's when you go into the TM forum, kind of a level 5 type of automation. So it's a journey that's going to be there. And maybe the one example I'm very, very proud of, unfortunately I'm not a Muslim, so I cannot go to Mecca to perform Hajj. But during Hajj, I think it's one of those, you spoke about the 5G example in the stadium in Kazakhstan, but in those 5 days, you have massive amount of people. What I understand, almost everybody has a smartphone, and they want to share the moment of their life. So for the last 2 years, we worked together with STC during Hajj, and we put something, our product name is Mantarei Autopilot. But basically, we did 15,000, so 15,000 changes on the network per hour. So if you turn that to be how many engineers that would be, so we talk about 1,500, 2,000, 10,000 engineers, it doesn't matter. You cannot do that without having the AI there. Right. So I think that's extremely important. Second part that we talk about is AI on run. And here I'm very happy, Fahad is not in the room, but I think we have some of the new colleagues. Did you know that there was an autonomic car racing in Abu Dhabi a few weeks ago? Last weekend there was the Formula One, but just a few weeks before that, I say that way because I'm proud. We have in Finland, Formula One is a big thing, and next year we have a driver, but this year our 5G together with Do beat the human. So what it is that, okay, still it was like a couple of seconds for the Russian driver who was driving there, because he gave 10 seconds kind of headwind for the autonomous car, right. But he could not anymore overtake. Last year it had been more than 10 seconds per lap difference. This year, 10 laps, he could not take over 10 seconds. Next year, good luck. Right. And I think that's a good example of the network slicing that happens there. So we are building those applications and work on that one. And I think that's the third one, which is the AI and run. And that's really the NVIDIA story. The way I think about this industry is, sometimes I joke, say that make telcos great again. And what it is that, in the old days when I started my career, we used to sell minutes. The problem of selling a minute is there's only 1 minute in a minute. Then iPhone came and crashed BlackBerry as one example when they started to sell gigabytes. So what's the problem of selling gigabytes? You have only 1 gigabyte in a gigabyte. So today all the money goes to hyperscalers, they create the value. What I believe is the future is that you start to be selling tokens. So that's the currency that the operators need to work on. So if you think about the applications, video streaming is a very simple example on that side. So today, I think it's almost 30 billion business that the content owners are missing because of fraud. But I think people don't want to do fraud if you find a way how you can share the digital rights. And there are technologies that will require the GPU. Or think about the automation, robotics, where the autonomous car racing was one example, but there's so much more there. But you have to go away from selling gigabytes. You have to go to sell something that is actually in the business process, and you monetize that. Right. So 3 examples.
And obviously your point about how AI could scale up things, that's very, very good.
Think about then you have in millions of base stations, the right. GPU capacity, latency, so all the automation, everything there, so it will be a different world.
Oh, very good. Yaroslav, coming back to you, obviously, and I won't call you vendor anymore, as a partner to the telco, I mean, what sort of solutions do you foresee or you're selling there which could help with the efficiencies in terms of automating things and so on?
Clearly, we're working on the couple strands in telecoms industry. One of the strands is helping our customers with their respective customer care, customer support functions. That's the easiest way, to solve it, because you can subtract a lot of information from the former data, and AI helps a lot to create tools for the consultants to just work with the customers. So this is something which is happening on a kind of normal daily basis. Something which is a bit of an obsession in our company is autonomous network processes. We're doing a number of POCs in Europe and in Japan with level 4 autonomous networks, and effectively it's looking for the not only self-curing element of the network, because the self-curing is something which is kind of more or less obvious. We need to create an environment in which the network, if it fails, it have an ability to cure it, and clearly the AI helps to do so. But also preventive maintenance, also the preventive elements of that. So that's what we are focusing on at the moment.
Very good. I'll move to Dr. Kairat. You're doing a lot of work related to finance and fintech. So maybe you have any specific examples where AI has done something within that industry in terms of automating or speeding up things?
Thank you for your question. So I believe, let me start from more like a common helicopter view. What's going on, to my mind, with the future of the telecom industry. So telecom today become as kind of foundation for AI economy in all countries. And it's not just about connectivity. So if we're thinking about what is finally telecom is selling to the clients, is like voice or data. So I believe, currently, there are some disruptive elements around this. We see like Revolut is coming to telecom industry from fintech. So we are, as a Freedom, also like fintech superpower in the region. So we are coming with this understanding of the customers. So we have a full ecosystem approach. So we kind of provide banking products, insurance, brokerage, lifestyle, entertainment, and that's a give to the clients kind of a better understanding. So what can be used from one side, and from the other side, for us, it's gathering of so much information about where we can really build very good models which allow us to provide relevant products to them. For example, we have already so-called, has been mentioned, data lake in the Freedom. During the COVID, Kazakhstani government opened the access to all the database. For example, we provide such a project as a digital mortgage. So we are doing like during the day, just in 2 hours. Or we're doing like a digital auto loans or digital insurance. So it takes minutes for the clients. Previously, it was like days, weeks.
Right.
So we make, due to this, with other fintechs in Kazakhstan, we now have a cashless economy. So nobody using the cash. And from the other side now, we start to use, like has been mentioned, voice AI agentic functions. So we provide to corporate clients different like account management, or we provide a better scoring system for the insurance. So this is, I believe, is kind of a big future, and I believe they've been mentioned by Nokia representative, it will be big partnership and coalition between telecom and financial institutions and many others, really to provide to the clients best quality and best solution.
Yeah, very good. Conscious of the time, I will move to the final topic, which is the focus areas going into 2026. So if we look at specific focus areas for telecom operators in 2026, obviously we've got a lot of bets to make. I mean, do we put all the cards in an AI promise future? Do we experiment with AI? Or do we wait and learn from what others are doing, whether they are failing or succeeding, right? So, and also, putting on the side maybe AI, what are the other telco priorities? I mean, do we need more investments in network, private networks, digital services, fintech, and so on? So what do we prioritize in 2026 linked with AI or otherwise? I think very short answers, a minute or less than a minute. Maybe we'll start with Monir and we move backwards.
Okay, I think in 2026, operators should focus on how we make money, how we grow. Because we talk about autonomous networks, we talk about AI, but in my view, the promise of growth and monetization is in selling these 5G SA services to enterprises, monetizing SLAs, and selling dedicated, intelligent connectivity and digital services on top. Of course, to achieve that, you will need AI, and you will need autonomous operations and the data foundation that we talked about. But let's start enforcing this the new business model backed by the technical and operational model. So assuring and monetizing 5G SA services for enterprises backed by autonomous operations and AI should be, in my view, the priority for the industry.
Very good. Dr. Kairat?
Yeah, I think 2026, as I mentioned, is for conversion between telecom and fintechs from one side and using all the AI recent development tools. But from the other side, I think that everyone should invest to the energy and infrastructure. So this is something which we have to be prepared for the further jump.
Okay.
If you're on time, you are late, which means that you should not wait. And I think what has been said here, it's all about how do you get in the value chain, creating more money. I think the fintech is a great example. It's an ecosystem on how you monetize, how you actually do better business. So,
very good.
On the value chain, what you've mentioned, moving from generative AI into agentic AI and plug that into the customer products.
Mikhail, a few points from your side.
We have three areas of focus in 26. One is 5G. Keep our leadership in 5G. Recently, we were in Kazakhstan. Tele2 won title of the best 5G network in Central Asia, and we want to continue building our leadership in 5G. Second is AI and embedding AI in our operations to drive efficiency further and learning and embedding AI in more and more processes and services. And third, using data for entering adjacent digital services. So this is also a very important priority for us, how we use data and AI to go into fintech, into content, and a number of other digital services that we plan.
Very good. Vasil?
It's very difficult to conclude after so many right things were told, especially by Mikhail, who is in a very similar position to myself, developing the telco and around telco businesses in certain developing countries. But I would just echo that, first of all, we have the big task in front of us is to proliferate and popularize 5G and then to monetize it at the end of the day. So we have to invest into it, and 2026 it will be for us a big investment into the 5G and development. On top of that, the areas which will bring us more business, new business, as was rightly said earlier today by Miko, that there's only 1 minute in a minute, there's only 1 gigabyte in a gigabyte, so where do we make more money? There are all people having phones, some have 2, 3 phones, so what do? We start to do new businesses. So as Mikhail just mentioned, fintech, edtech, paytech, you name the techs. We will be everywhere, and we will be trying to grow our business everywhere, which we call beyond the core or near core, beyond the telco, because the telco is rudimental. The new businesses will bring new money, and for us, the new money is the name of the game and the goal. And at the end of the day, AI would be possibly, and I very much hope so, enabler of getting us where we want to be in a better, faster way, and at the end of the day, more profitable. So experimenting with AI pretty much in every area is, again, a must if we want to be anywhere in the nearest future. Thank you.
Very good. Tony, I know we run out of time, but maybe there's a burning question from the audience. So, yeah, there's one there. Yeah. One, yeah.
Hi everyone, thank you for sharing your wisdom. I have a question for all of you. We know already that AI is full of biases. How do you make sure in your organizations and in your teams that equality and inclusion is present?
Interesting one.
I can maybe take one if it's okay. So
Go ahead.
I think it's extremely important, the whole equality inclusion topic. So we work a lot with different type of programs with, if I think about just one example with UN Women, we run across the Middle East Africa programs. I give now one example from Saudi, where every summer we have around 30 students, we call it from student to engineer, and we have focused only on female engineers. And I think maybe not what you were looking, but of course that means that you have to make sure that all the youth is having the same chances. And Nokia being a global company, we have a great opportunity to work with younger people, different type of people across the region as well.
We use AI to improve our coverage and to improve quality of mobile internet, and thus we drive digital inclusion. And digital inclusion is fundamental type of inclusion, because when people are connected to internet, their life becomes kind of so much better and so much richer. I think an important role of operators is to use AI to drive digital inclusion as much as possible.
Maybe I will add just one word. In fact, we come from the countries, most of us come from the countries which are AI disadvantaged. If you rate the countries by AI adoption, there will be different countries on the top of the list than those that we represent here. So the inclusion is not about how we include everyone else. It's about how they include us, how we get included, how we break through and become a part of this big AI game. Otherwise, we are yet outside of the core AI development in a global way. So I think it's about us bringing ourselves up to the top-notch speed and then bringing everybody else to the same cohort, to the same game.
Excellent. Well, to finalize, I would like just to thank the participants, and hopefully, a lot of these priorities which were mentioned will be implemented. We'll sit here next year with all the successes, and good luck for the next year.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
If we can please find our seats, please. Mr. Barry, who will now take the stage, the VP, of course, of Huawei Carrier Marketing Department, Mr. Barry.